Hey, Chris Sider here, founder of Ex-Boyfriend Recovery, and today I put together a nice video for you to tell you what to do if your ex is ignoring you. But before we get to that, first I'd like to offer you a unique opportunity to take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz. It's a simple 2-minute free quiz that's going to tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back. All you have to do to take that quiz is stop by our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, or simply click the link in the description below this video. So, it's been a few days since the breakup, and you decide you're going to reach out and text your ex. Your heart starts pounding. You start to get a little worried if he or she is going to respond or not. But that's neither here nor there. Ultimately, you decide you're going to go through with this and you end up sending that text to your ex. A few minutes go by and nothing happens. Okay, all right, it's only been a few minutes, you tell yourself. Then a few hours go by. Still, you're not panicking just yet. They could be busy, right? And then a day goes by and you start going into panic mode. You become very upset and determine that the best way to handle the situation is to text them even more. Of course, they don't respond. So, what's going on here? Why is it that when you text your ex, they wouldn't respond to you? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that you didn't give your ex enough of a reason to want to respond to you. When I'm working with my clients one-on-one, I tend to ask them one simple question when it comes to formulating a game plan on what you should be texting your ex. And that question is, what's in it for them? You see, human beings tend to be hardwired based on self-interest. In other words, they're going to try to put themselves in a situation that's going to benefit them more than anything. Now, we see this mentality a lot when men and women are looking at choosing a romantic partner. They're always looking for the best case scenario. Whoever's going to benefit them the most and cost them the least is going to be who they tend to choose. Think of it this way for a moment. Let's say you go to a library and you decide that you're going to go and get a book. You go past multiple books, thousands of books, each staring you in the face, begging to be chosen. Now, a few catch your interest and you pick them up and decide to look at the cover. After all, we do judge books by their covers. I don't think so. You know, this cover doesn't look that great. So you put this book back and you decide to keep going on. You continue your quest to find that book. Never mind the fact that the book that you just picked up and looked at could have been the best book in the world. It could have been the perfect match for you. But since you judged that book by its cover, you put it back and moved on to something else. You see, without even realizing it, looking at that book, that mere action, your brain made a calculated decision on, this isn't going to be in my best self-interest. I'm not going to waste my time, hours and hours reading this book because that cover doesn't look interesting enough. And that's kind of like what texting your ex does. Your ex gets a text message and it's like the cover of a book. If it's not interesting enough, if it doesn't capture their attention, they're going to put the text down and ignore you. Now, this begs the age-old question of how can I get him or her to respond to that text? Well, since I already kind of gave you an example that was library or literary themed, I figured I'd stay in that direction. What is it about stories that capture our attention so well? Is it the fact that they transport us to a place where we don't have to face our problems? Maybe. Is it the fact that we're left to our own devices to construct the story in our own head when we read a book? Well, potentially, but I think a great story always has to have 4 things. It needs to have love. It needs to have some sort of primal fear or primal need. It needs to have a touch of irony, and it needs, of course, to have a touch of making a problem way worse than it actually is. Now, these 4 things make up great and interesting stories, but they can also make up great and interesting text messages. Let's say that you love fishing. So you decide to go fishing and you end up falling into the lake where you're fishing. Now, for most people, this isn't that big of a deal. But for you, it kind of is because you can't swim. And then matters are made worse as you realize this lake is full of man-eating piranhas. Now, telling your ex that story is a lot more engaging because it has those 4 things that I talked about. It has love because, hey, you love fishing. It has irony because, hey, you're fishing and you can't swim. It has making a problem worse because guess what? You can't swim. Problem, but also there's a bunch of piranhas trying to kill you. It also has a touch of primal survival because what are you gonna do if a bunch of piranhas start chasing you? You're gonna try to survive. So the next time that you reach out to your ex, reach out with something interesting and engaging, something that touches on these 4 things, and I think you'll find you'll have better results. Alright guys, thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And also, if you haven't already, stop by our website and take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz. You can do that by simply looking in the description below this video, or simply just go to our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, and we'll get you taken care of. Well, until next time, see ya.